So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the EU didn't actually ban the crown marks on pints. Shock. So to mark the first anniversary of the trade deal between the UK and the EU, Downing Street issued a press release about how Prime Minister Johnson plans to maximise the benefits of Brexit. So far, he's gotten little to nothing. Or as someone on Dragon's Den used to say, diddly squat. So the crown stamp had been used on pint glasses for more than 300 years to show they are large enough to hold a full pint. An EU directive which took effect in 2006 required the use of an EU-wide CE mark, which stands for Conformité European, French for European Conformity. Okay, CE appears on many other products, toys, medical devices, power supplies for computers, I believe, and it shows that they meet the EU safety, health and environmental rules and can move freely across its countries with no additional checks, because essentially it's saying like, yeah, it's good to go. But the European Commission has rejected that idea, the idea that EU will stop the UK from having crown stamp on glasses as well. A spokesperson told us that EU law does not prevent markings from being placed on products as long as it does not overlap or be confused with the CE mark. So the question is, if pint glasses stopped having the crown pint mark on them, why is that? Is it because they wanted to export more pint glasses to the EU, perhaps? It's not clear why they were removed, but the Tories blaming the EU for it. The EU saying no, it wasn't us. So I doubt the EU really care about this. Following Brexit, goods will now have the UK CA mark, UK conformity assessed. However, to allow businesses more time to adjust, this won't kick in until the start of next year, which I can see them kicking that into the long grass as well, because that causes a nightmare amount of issues. Former Brexit Minister Frost said in September that the government will permit the voluntary printing of the crown stamp on pint glasses. So, again, it's not very clear on, did the EU actually stop this? I don't think they did. But yeah, it doesn't seem like something they would care about. Seems like maybe a voluntary decision, so they could export more pint glasses to the EU. So factories stop putting that mark on, so the glasses could be easier sold in France, because I don't think the French would want the British pint mark on their glass, because they would deal with millilitres or whatever, or the Germans or whoever. Ending the tampon tax, so a 5% rate of VAT on sanitary products, the so-called tampon tax, was scrapped by the government. EU laws require member states to tax tampons and sanitary towels at a minimum rate of 5%, which I think is stupid. I don't agree with the tampon tax. It's not good. I don't think things like toiletries, like toothpaste necessities, should be taxed. The EU is in the process of abolishing the tax, so it is slow, but it does do things. It does move, and if we're members of the EU, we could have further pushed for the end of the tampon tax. This is the only kind of sovereignty thing they got, a 5% deduction in tax of sanitary products, which consumers will probably not see the benefit of, because companies will still keep that 5% on and just rake it in as profit. And if we import these tampons, then they're going to go up in price anyways. Ireland, a member of the EU, already had 0% VAT on sanitary products, because that was in place before EU legislation was imposed on the 5% rate. So they didn't even force Ireland to increase the rate, which is very nice of them. New free trade deals worth 760 billion, which is rubbish. As we pointed out before, the majority of these involve taking the deal the EU had with these countries and replicating them, the terms for the UK, but these again have their own problems, these rollover deals, because some of them are do reference EU laws and standards, and the other problem is certain deals we actually got, like with Japan, is worse than the EU's deal with Japan. With a few of the countries, the terms have been slightly different to the EU, such as Japan, Norway and Iceland. They're not as good. And a deal has been signed with Australia and in principle with New Zealand, which are not the same as the EU's deals with them, because the EU doesn't actually have deals with them. I don't know why the BBC didn't point that out. How do you get a total of 760 billion? Add up the value of total imports and exports with countries that you have deals with the EU, and you'll find on this table. Add Australia and New Zealand and you get just over 200 billion. The rest comes from trade with EU countries, which are covered by the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, so the bulk of it is with the EU. Shock. But there is less trade with the EU now than there was when the UK was a member state. That's not surprising to anyone, given that British exports and imports will be harder to do. So it makes trade less viable. So overall, UK trade with the rest of the world has actually gone down since the government came to power, which is surprising. And to say that deals are worth over 760 billion assumes that without them there would be no trade at all, which is not the case. You just pay tariffs if tariffs are applicable. So yeah, great fact check there. The fastest vaccine rollout anywhere in Europe. This was delivered by avoiding cumbersome EU bureaucracy, according to the press release. However, the UK approved the Pfizer vaccine in November 2020, nearly 3 weeks before EU regulators. However, as the head of UK medicines regulator pointed out at the time, the UK's approval was permitted under EU law, just like other EU member states could also have done. They could have permitted emergency use according to their own regulators. Hungary authorised the use of the Russian vaccine far before EU regulators authorised it. There was emergency use allowed. The vaccine rollout started in the UK on the 8th of December, weeks before the EU, and initially the pace of vaccination in the UK was faster in the EU, which ran into problems with its early rollout. Let's not forget that the UK was importing vaccines from the EU but didn't export any. However, EU countries have since caught up. Currently, 13 EU countries, as well as Norway and Iceland, have a higher proportion of their populations fully vaccinated, according to figures from Our World in Data. Typically, you look at countries with a similar population. So you look at France. I think France has got similar population size to Norway, which is relatively smaller. So you've got the UK here. I mean, the EU overall is just slightly less, 1% less than the UK, which is not great, in all honesty. I think the UK are doing well in boosters, but there's more. I think people are less likely to get boosters. The UK has given more booster doses of the vaccine to its population than any other country, with 50%. France and Germany at 39 and 33 respectively, but I think they'll catch up. So, question: did the EU ban pint marks on glasses? I don't think so. I think the only reason they got rid of them is so they can export more pint glasses to the EU, which is going to be more difficult to do now. I think that's my opinion, but it's very hard to resolve that in fact. So purely because the EU have denied it, but the UK are claiming it. The BBC hasn't actually done the fact checking, and I don't think there's any. They would have cited an EU law that which got rid of the marking. So I'm gonna rule it as, until someone tells me otherwise, that the EU didn't actually put the ban on the pint marks. But I'm gonna keep the question mark in the title purely because I don't know that for 100% certain. It's just my opinion. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.